This episode from the life of Sherlock Holmes will be transmitted to our men and women overseas by short waves and through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce in the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Invite you to listen to Dr. Watson tell us another exciting adventure he shared with his good friend, that master detective, Sherlock Holmes. And now let's keep our weekly appointment. Good evening, Dr. Watson.
Good evening, Mr. Bartell. Draw up a chair.
Thanks.
It erupted in August. Baker Street was like an oven. The glare of the sunlight and the brickwork of the house across the street was almost painful to the eyes. Our blinds were half drawn, and Holmes lay curled on the sofa, reading and rereading a letter which had just come in by the morning post.
Close the tea. Smell a breath of air.
And I thought it outing on the days of the New Forest, or basking on the shining beach of the South Coast, aren't they, Holmes?
Yes, quite so really, Watson. How about a trip to Croydon?
Croydon? Croydon.
Just at the moment, it's the only place that lure me away from the attractions of London. Moreover, we can combine business with pleasure.
Well, known to catch him in summer. Well, what's been happening at Croydon?
Well, it seems that a Miss Susan Cushing, living at Cross Street, Croydon, received a package by yesterday morning's post.
Oh, what's so unusual about that, Holmes? Thousands of packages must be delivered daily, my son.
Possibly, Watson, possibly. But not with such decent content. I just received a note from Inspector Lestrade. He asked me to go down and take a look at that package. Certain guard seems to feel that it's the result of a particularly revolting practical joke. What do you say, Watson? Can you rise to get out of the heat and run down to Croydon?
Shall I? I've been wanting something to do.
Good. Well, suppose you're in car boots and tell Mrs. Hudson to order a cab.
Croydon certainly left a precedent in London, eh, Holmes?
Yes. I do see this. Neat little houses with our whitened stone steps. That must be Miss Susan Cushing's house up ahead. One next to the corner. I rather to expect her.
Yes, she was waiting for us on Dodson, at least. I judged that her she seems to be expecting us.
Yes. Pleasant-faced little woman with large, gentle eyes and graying hair. I wonder who she mixed up in a case like this. Good afternoon. Miss Susan Cushing, I presume?
Oh, yes. And you're Mr. Holmes, I'm sure. Won't you come in, gentlemen?
Miss Cushing, may I introduce my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson?
I'm delighted to know you.
Madam.
Won't you come into the parlor, gentlemen? Please, sit down.
Well, Miss Cushing, is there something we can do for you?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I wish you'd take that dreadful box away. Inspector Lestrade insisted on leaving it here, and when he came, he thought you might want to ask me some questions, but I know nothing whatever about it.
I quite understand, Miss Cushing. I've no doubt that you've been annoyed more than enough already over this business.
Indeed, I have, Mr. Holmes. I'm a quiet woman, and I lead a quiet life. It's got me so I'm afraid to stay in the house alone now.
Yes, no wonder. I hope you won't consider me impertinent if I live here alone, particularly as you have considered.
Why, yes, I have considered, Mr. Holmes. It's fair on me. But how did you know?
There's a picture of an mantelpiece. The two young ladies and the young man standing between them. The family resemblance was quite marked.
Oh, of course. That picture was taken at Liverpool just a few days before Jim Browner eloped with Mary. That's his picture. Mary's the one on his left. She was the baby of the family.
The other one was Sarah, I take it.
Yes, she was the beauty of the Sarah. Well, but it was her that Jim was after. She was pretty crazy about him, too, but I guess she made the better choice. Sarah's disposition wasn't any too easy to live with. I often wondered how he stood having her in the house as long as he did.
But, I thought you said it was Mary that Mr. Browner married.
So I get Mr. Holmes. But soon after getting married, Sarah went to live in Liverpool, and I have a sneaking suspicion it was Sarah who caused most of the trouble. When he first met Mary, he was kind and considerate. Oh, he was crazy about her right enough, but somehow it didn't last. He's grown more and more irritable, and whenever he lost his temper, he'd go stark, staring mad. First thing I heard, he quarreled with Sarah and turned her out of the house. Got a meddling, I suspect, and gave her a piece of his mind. Well, after that, she came here to live with me for a bit, but it didn't last long either. She's taken a house at New Street, Wellington. She's not easy to get on with, Mr. Holmes.
I see. Did Mr. Brown change after your sister Sarah left him and Mary?
That I don't know, Mr. Holmes. You see, Mary stopped writing me when Sarah moved here. I guess she knew him better.
Jim was a steward, I gather, from the uniform in that picture.
All this stuff was his trade. He was on the South American line when that picture was taken. And here I am telling you all about my small troubles, and it's that dreadful box you've come about.
Yes, so it is. You haven't any suspicion as to who may have sent it?
That I haven't, Mr. Holmes. Unless it was some lodgers I had here last spring, medical students they were, from Belfast. The box was first off Belfast, you see, and Inspector Lestrade seemed to think it might be them. They were always up to some tricks, but, never anything like this, Mr. Holmes.
I see. Well, suppose you let us have a look at that box, Miss Cushing.
It's out in the back shed, Mr. Holmes. I won't keep it in the house, that I won't. Oh, I wish you'd take it away altogether. This way, gentlemen. You'll pardon me if I don't go with you. I can't bear to look at the nasty things again.
I don't understand, Miss Cushing.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'd be honored if you and Dr. Watson would stop in for a bit of tea after you finish.
Oh, thank you. We'd be delighted, Miss Cushing.
Mr. Holmes, what's in that confounded box that everybody's so upset about?
Well, your curiosity, Watson. You'll see soon enough. Come on, down the path. Shed door seems to be unlocked.
That was where the box Holmes. Over there on that work table.
Yes, let's have a look at it. It's strange. Exceedingly interesting. What do you make of this string, Watson?
Well, it's been torn.
Exactly. A piece of flowered twine. Miss Cushing has had the good judgment to cut the cord, leaving the knot intact. Yes, this knot is of a peculiar character.
You don't see anything so peculiar about it. It's very neatly tied, strong and sturdy.
I buy a seafaring man, Watson, by a seafaring man. Not the paper. Brown paper. With a distinct smell of coffee.
I don't smell anything.
I think it's smell and taste is what keeps in yours, Watson. I've trained my faculties, while you allow yours to run riot. Mine are sensitive, alert.
Rubbish.
Address printed in straggling characters. Miss S. Cushing, Cross Street, Croydon. Miss S. Cushing. Enlightening, Watson, most enlightening. No, I suppose not. Answer was sent by a man with printing with deceit masculine, probably a sailor. His education is limited.
Oh, it's perfectly clear. Now, it's put it
That
up.
wasn't quite. Now the box itself. A half-pound tobacco box. Remove the lid, Watson, will you? That's it.
Nothing more than a lot of rough salt, the kind that you use to preserve hides.
Look at it. There's something embedded in it. Yes. Look at this, Watson. Look at this.
Heavens, Holmes, it's 2 ears, 2 human ears. How perfectly revolting. So that's what Miss Cushing was so upset about. I can't say that I blame her.
Yes, and I take it to descend to a respectable Spencer lady. You observe, of course, that the ears are not a pair.
Of course, one's a woman's ear pierced for an earring, and the other's a man's.
Sunburned, discolored, and also pierced for an earring. The ear of a seafaring man.
I'm sure you don't think that any sailor would cut his own ear than Miss Cushing.
Let me not, Watson. The ear belongs to one man, the package was sent by another.
Both sailors. What about the Lestrade sailors that this was a joke perpetrated by the medical student?
Watson, you were once a medical student. If you were going to cut the ears from 2 subjects in the dissecting room and sell them to someone as a joke,
Well, I wouldn't think of doing such a thing.
no, but if you did, I mean, would you preserve them in salt?
Salt? No, that was out ages ago.
I thought so. Moreover, if you notice, the ear has been cut off with a blunt instrument. Too clumsy to be the job of a medical student. This is no practical joke when investigating. It's a particularly gruesome crime.
You mean two people have been murdered?
As it stands to reason they must be dead. I should have that story by now. But I didn't think you should... Miss Cushing is waving to us from her sitting room window. Tea's ready.
I'm sorry, those are walking their tears up to I must say I don't understand this case. Why did the magnet send those ears to Miss Cushing? Because you have some strong reason.
Well, to tell her the deed was done to cause us pain.
In that case, she must have never sent it. If she knew, why call the police in? Why not bury the ears so that nobody would be any the wiser? Either Miss Cushing knows nothing about it, and therefore can't tell the police, or she knows everything and doesn't want to mention his name.
And to those suppositions correct?
Yes, but I don't understand that.
It ever occurred to you, Watson, that there are two Miss S. Cushing, Miss Susan and Miss Sarah? The box was not for Sarah, but Susan opened it by mistake.
Yes, but
the gentleman who sent it believed that Sarah was still living with Miss Susan Cushing.
In that case, Sarah must know who the murderer is.
Right. She understands so well that she's had a complete nervous breakdown.
Yes, but I thought that Miss Cushing said that her sister lived in Wellington.
So she did, Watson. So she did.
Well, if you want to find out who the murderer is, why not go to Wellington? Why drag me off to Liverpool like this in the middle of the night?
Because, Watson, I don't need to find out the name of the murderer. I know it. But, furthermore, I'm confident that my conclusions are correct. If I sent the name of the guilty party to Inspector Lestrade, unfortunately, you'll not be able to apprehend the criminal until tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, you're talking nonsense. Now, you don't even know who the murdered man and woman are.
And again, Watson, or rather, partly wrong. I know who the woman was. Who? Miss Susan Cushing's sister. You saw the front of female here, Watson. You saw Miss Cushing's here. There's a marked family resemblance. The same broad curve of the upper lobe, the same convolution of the inner cartilage.
Look here, if the package was sent to Sarah, it couldn't have been earlier.
Right. Therefore, it must have belonged to the other sister, Mary.
The man here, who is he?
That's what we've come to Liverpool to find out.
Where can we get our information from at this hour of the night?
Here you are, sir. This is the house. Good. Wait here for us, will you, Kevin?
Order, Kevin.
This is where we begin our inquiries, Watson. The house of Mr. Jim Browner.
Oh, no,
Yes, I know, Watson, I know. Just let me do all the talking with you. Hello? Anybody home?
Who's there?
Two gentlemen with a message from Mrs. Browner.
Actually,
He's not the terror.
Very well, then, I'll speak to Mr. Browner.
He's not the terror neither. He's away on his ship.
I must speak to someone. It's a police affair, understand? A matter of life and death.
Oh, no, Governor. I opened the door at once. Just you right there.
how did you tell the girl that Mrs. Browner's been murdered?
Certainly not, you know that. Here she comes.
Step in, gentlemen. Step in. Oh, was that relieved when I saw who you was? I thought maybe I was in come back again.
Jim? What do you mean?
Jim, the master, Mr. Browner. It's just not due till tomorrow, but after what happened on Tuesday, you never know. And she hasn't come back yet neither. Mrs. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the one to have to tell him she's been away from home for some
Yes, I see what you mean. Just what did happen on Tuesday?
Tuesday? Why, that was the day when Mrs. went off to New Brighton with that Alex Fairburn. In the master can't abide.
Alex Fairburn? Who's he?
He's a mate on the master service. Slavering sort of fella. I haven't much use for him, I haven't. Miss Sarah, that's Mr. Browner's sister, the one who used to live with us. But it was Miss Sarah that brought him to the house because she knew Mr. Browner had no use for him.
Yeah. She did it to irritate Mr. Browner.
Yes, she did. She was funny that way. She could take it in life and get him upset. But it wasn't till Mr. Fairburn started being sweet to Mrs. but he was on advantage. Finally, he told her, Miss Sarah that is, to keep Mr. Fairburn out of the house, or he'd send her one of his ears for a keepsake.
What truth to tell, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. And he carried on such incredible to lost his temper. But it wasn't till last Tuesday that I saw how bad he could be. Lord lovers, what a guy that was, to be sure.
And what happened on Tuesday?
Oh, he was terrible. He swore he'd do me if I dared so much as to breathe it to a soul. But I had been thinking it over, I had, and I ain't so sure I oughtn't to tell somebody. That with Mrs. Browner not coming home and all.
Quite right. Suppose you tell us.
Well, it was Tuesday. Mr. Browner had started on his run up to Belfast that morning. Leastwise, we thought he had. Along about 10 o'clock, I see that Mr. Fairbairn drive up to the door all smiles and a turn of a start. He don't get out of the cab, just sits there and waits. And pretty soon, Mrs. Browner comes slipping down the stairs. Well, you're not going out with that Mr. Fairbairn, are you? Why not? What will Mr. Browner do if he finds out? But he won't find out from me. I'm sure there's nothing wrong about it. We're just going down to New Brighton for the day. That Mr. Browner and his brother, Mr. Browner. Besides, Sarah is right. A woman with a beautiful husband is entitled to a little pleasure now and then. I'll be home by 9 at the latest. I wish she wouldn't do it. I don't trust that Mr. Fairbairn. I don't trust him at all.
Hello, Millie. Didn't expect to see you back again so soon, eh? Millie! Oh, Millie, I'm back. What's wrong, Millie? You look as if I were a ghost.
No, sir. I was just surprised, that's all. I wasn't expecting you back so soon.
Hobbs had got loose and opened up one of the plates, certain to develop into quite a leak. We had to put back into port. We sail again in 12 hours. Millie! Oh, Millie! Where the deuce is she?
She's gone out, sir.
Marketing?
No, sir. She's gone to New Brighton for the day.
To Brighton? She didn't tell me she was going there. Look here. That wasn't really I passed in the street riding in the cab with that swine.
This is...
Oh, so that's it. The young wife gone to Brighton with Alex Fairbairn. Thought they could fool me, did they? I warned her what I'd do if she ever saw him again, and by heaven, I'll do it.
I'm sure you won't do nothing, eh?
Won't I?
That's
for you, Billy. If you ever so much as tell a soul that I came home today, I'll slit your throat from ear to ear. Yes, brother. Now, the week's Mayday, of course. She docks at 3 o'clock, had you forgotten? We must apprehend Brown before he had a chance to escape. We're traveling around those filthy docks in sporting sun. No, thank you. You will stay quietly here and do my perspiring at home. But he's kept Brown and murdered his wife. And from his world, a dangerous criminal. You can't do no barging about. Free to murder other people. The intention of letting him remain at large reference, but arresting Brown is a routine piece of business, after all. Which allows Scotland Yard to do something to end its ridiculous salary. Yes, I sent word around to Inspector Lestrade. I fancy you down on the dock at this very moment. Giving his paws a night's workout. Yes. But even so, I doubt very much that he'll be able to consummate his bit of routine business. Well, you mean you think that Brown has escaped? No, Watson. No. And did Mr. Browner escape, Dr. Watson? Yes, Mr. Bevan, he did, but not in the way that I anticipated. You see, he committed suicide just before the Mayday reached port. Poor devil. Yes, they found his corpse with a letter beside it in which he confessed to having committed the double murder. It seems that he followed them to New Brighton. It was a hot day, and they rented a rowing boat, thinking it would be cool out on the water. There was a haze, and Browner rented another boat. And when they were out of sight off the shore and surrounded by fog, he overtook them, killed them, cut off their ears, and sank the boat. Now, Dr. Watson, how about a tip on next week's adventure? Well, let me see. Next week, I think I'll tell you how Holmes broke into the house with Mr. Josiah Elmer. Well, what was he looking for, Dr. Watson? Robins, Mr. Redmond. 2 men robbers. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to a Sherlock Holmes adventure, The Cardboard Box, by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. The dramatization was by Edith Meiser. Mr. Rathbone appeared through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and Mr. Bruce through the courtesy of Universal Pictures. Both are now starring in Universal Pictures' Sherlock Holmes series. Tune in this station each week at the same time for further adventures of Sherlock Holmes.